friend. Today I got the tea. We're going to talk about how curiosity keeps them yum yum. Now I'm not talking about our little fur babies. I'm talking about that thing. So fellas, stay tuned if you're looking to keep her intrigued and purring after you for more. And sisters, continue to listen when you want to learn how to stay curious in the right things so you can keep her locked up until it's time for her to come out. Anywho, are you ready to receive and experience this new love, this real love that they used to sing about in like 70s, 80s, and early 90s that you got to go back in history to look at? They call it Dusties. We talking about that real love because if you're ready to experience that, I'm going to need you to repeat after me. I am willing to take the time to get to know myself through love. Repeat it, baby. 2, I believe that love has a new life for me. Repeat it, baby. I am open to receive what love has for me because, baby, I got my bag open. Repeat it, baby. So Miles Monroe, I'm acting like you repeated that now. You repeated it. Miles Monroe, he said something that was very intriguing to me. He said, whenever you understand human need, you are in control of the relationship. Boy, that had me rubbing my samurai beard like, let me ponder on that for a minute. And after a minute that I had pondered on it, I was like, that's what that is with the 48 Laws of Power and the Art of Seduction. Because in looking at it, it's coming from physical needs and psychological needs. So keep that in mind. So the part about that, it's used for manipulation tactics. If I can get you into a place where you're dependent on me, I have control. But now let's look at this. For a manipulator, a person who's doing this, that is very hard to do when that is not of you. So you may have that little bit of energy within you and you may be projecting that and you may be willing to do it for a month or two, but it's very difficult to be consistent in that and faithful in that. Even in being a pleaser, being a people pleaser, you may not be a manipulator. You may be, I just want to please you, baby. I want to make you feel good. Yeah, but if love is not there, that can get extremely tiring. So we have to look at getting to know the person depends on you. And so we want to really get to know ourselves so that we'll have a better opportunity to get to know someone else. And that's where this investment come in. And friend, I'm going to get to that cat situation. Just stay tuned because this all fits together now. And so in meeting other needs, in order for us to actually, and I mean, it doesn't help looking at it from a control point of view, but in looking at if we are really, what is this he said? If we are really looking to understand human needs, that takes for us a development. That takes for us to be. We have to be understanding, one, an understanding of humans. So it's like we have to be a thing in order to keep it faithful and consistent because that's who we are. And so we have to start looking at this love walk as an investment. You are investing in yourself and investing into your life. This is a lifestyle change. And like instead of doing a diet, I'm gonna do this diet so I can lose this fat for like maybe a month before this wedding get here. But then after you married, that it comes right back on. And so it's like, instead of just doing it for this one small situation, we're going to make it a lifestyle change. So I want you to think about it like this. I don't want to say when, but just think about it. We're going to think about it like this. Because I ain't did it either, little baby. But I'm just throwing this out here for the imagination station. Let's just say we were going to get a prostitute or an escort. And I put both of them names there because I don't want you to just have the illusion of one sex in that particular category. Because no matter what an individual identifies as, if they want to be a sex worker, honey, they going to be all up in that. So, anywho, if we decided to pick to go for a night for a prostitute or an escort, and we find out it costs this amount of money for this amount of hours for this type of service. So it's like, okay, okay, cool. I get all of this for this. All right, I got my money. I'm going to get everything I want. Bam. This is what we know, right? But what we don't know, and which we don't have any understanding on, is how this prostitute or escort could be crazy, how they can have a crazy partner, how they can be plotting on robbing you, how they can be plotting on, I don't know, having you addicted to this thing. And it's like, yeah, they're going to keep buying this. They're going to keep buying this. And then one day I'm going to make them have my baby or whatever. You don't know what's really happening behind this. All you know is how much it costs. You can get a disease, you can anything. All you know is how much paper it costs for them little hours that you want to have you a good time for that short period of time. But you really don't know what come on after that. Wisdom. This is where wisdom come in at. So we got that whole scenario, right? So we're just going to push that to the side and we're going to go to Genesis with the Adams before Eve's name was Eve. Because they both names was Adams. And so here it is, the serpent come to them and had this conversation. Now, friend, before I even start talking on this conversation, let me get my examples here. Here we have what people mainly hear is the tree of good and evil. And here we have the tree of life. But did you hear what I said with that first part and what people mainly hear is the tree of good and evil? Because the whole thing is that I at least for within the past week or so, it's like the tree of good and evil gives me the impression that there are two different fruits in which I can pick from. And it's like, yeah, no, friend, it is not apples and oranges on the same tree. It's the same fruit. It's not apples and oranges on one tree, friend. So you're not, okay, I want this one and I pick that one later. No, because do you know why? And do you know how I know this? Because it's called the tree of knowledge. Of whatever it has knowledge of, it don't matter. It's the tree of knowledge. And this is the tree of life. Now, whatever age you are right now, you done lived some life. And we done had through experience that you didn't think you done know something. But until you gain some understanding, hallelujah, you don't know jack squat. Because you be thinking, you be going up in the situation, yeah, I know, such and such and such and such and such and such. And find out, oh man, they lied. Because you didn't really understand what they was operating with and how they was slyly talking about some things or slyly showing you some things. Because it's like, we was deluged by our own desires. And this is how we going about checking that. Because it first starts with us learning the truth. And this, okay, so I'm moving too fast, friend. I'm moving too fast. So we go with the serpent conversation right to the Adams. Because I don't care if the first Adam ain't said nothing, it's still, he present in there somewhere because he ate that mofo. Anywho, the Adams. So here it is, this whole discussion where it's like, surely, the serpent says this, surely you won't die. But the thing is, it wasn't a thing like, now wait a minute now, surely you won't die at this very moment. I mean, a piece of you will die, but not the whole thing. And even though we're talking about this and I'm making this rather seemingly small suggestion, bro, it's kind of huge because it's going to make a whole ripple effect. I mean, it's a whole book about how this even got started. So, I mean, the choice is really yours because, you know, it's this whole free will. I'm going on like I'm really having this conversation. But it's still a thing in how this wasn't discussed. It was just this one part and it's like, yeah, don't you want to know all this stuff? And so, we go into the wisdom of Solomon. Because this was a brother who knew some things. And at first he understood some stuff, but he was just like, F it, I'm going to throw all that stuff out the window because I want what I want it. So Proverbs 1:7, from Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon. Because we're working on Proverbs, right, friend? This is how I'm working on remembering that because when we get to that end of the month, we're gonna touch up on these here Proverbs. But in Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So whoop the wop the bam. Solomon didn't live the life. He done some things. Now, whether he said this before or after he did some things, because I feel like Ecclesiastes was like, This was after the fact. I did some things because I just ain't all that happy. It's a time for everything. And right now, my time ain't being happy. Anyway, yep. So, with this knowledge situation, it was probably before stuff hit the fan with him and he was like sitting there and didn't have all that distraction. The fear of the Lord. So, what came to me was back to the Adams. Even a lot of times when our parents be giving us wisdom ahead of time, we may not understand what they saying, but we know what no means. We know what no means when we know what yes means. Because from early on, you learn them real quick. So with this conversation and with the fear of the Lord, this goes to show they didn't have that fear until afterwards. And it's like that knowledge gave them a different type of knowledge because they ain't had understanding with that knowledge. Because if they had understanding, they'd ask for forgiveness instead of covering up that thing. But curiosity is what's keeping the cat, okay? And that thing, because that thing isn't connected with this cat. So anyway, when we have this love and we listening, because they didn't understand, they were like children. But Solomon was a little bit different. And he got some different understandings before and after the fact. And so with his wisdom, this is our thing. We want to gain some of this understanding and apply it to our lives so that we're not stuck on stupid till we're like 100 and something years old. And it's like, oh my gosh, I finally understood how that was toxic. Nah, friend, we about to learn a day within the next month or so, because this is where the Proverbs help. And if you don't think Proverbs don't help with relationships, excuse me, I mean, the brother had a whole bunch of women. That's a whole lot of experience. And the brother had a whole bunch of men after him, a whole bunch of people where he might have been cool with, but it was like, do they like me because of my monies? My powers? So he got a lot to give us here. And this is why we want to pay attention to what he got to say, okay? And if you don't know anything about Solomon, take a read of his story. I think it's in Kings somewhere. I hadn't planned on talking about that, but boy, yeah, that brother do some things. And it's different than I get. Okay, they got these biblical movies and it's like, oh my God, I want to watch it. Let me tell you how that is. Those people have creative rights when they're doing it for the movies and so forth and so on. Baby, when you read that word, you giving God creative rights, because when you're asking him to open your spiritual eyes so that you can see what it is that he's saying to you, you're giving him creative rights on your imagination station, because this is why we want to get into the word and start reading it. When we start reading about him, this is how we go about asking more questions about him, because it's like, where did that, what, why? So this is also preparation, whether you are already with someone or you are single and prepared to be with that special someone. This is helping us to learn how to listen to certain things, learn how to read certain things. Because even though we're reading the word, we're letting our imagination go. If you're having difficulty in visualizing things, because I just saw a video as far as in people reading a book and they don't imagine anything as they read. So let's practice that. Let's practice taking time out in silence where we're not getting all this disruption happening around us, and we're able to focus on the words that are presented in front of us and take our time and read and allow it like a movie to play in your mind. Now, I guess sometimes it may take some time for that, but what are we doing? We are investing. Baby, this ain't no quick return, but it's a guaranteed return. I guarantee. I'm just running my mouth. But it's for a good cause. It's for purpose as well. Oh my God, if you just only understood, people just be talking. I digress, forgive me. Okay, where am I? So we're reflecting. What we're reflecting on is that you cannot build connection off of just information alone. We cannot actually be kings and queens off of just information alone. Because if we're considering ourselves kings and queens, we're seeking out treasure. If we're looking at this thing as just information alone, that's just like, I just know where the treasure is located and I know how much is in there and I know it's worth a lot. But is it in your pocket? Are you able to utilize that treasure? So this is where our understanding and wisdom comes from. Because if we look at life, because I believe that's what I was talking about earlier, and however many years you are, and in watching this video and looking at life, you have experienced things to such a point where you have learned your lesson on some things, haven't you? And you've had to gain understanding and wisdom because of what you learned. So, in listening to Myles Munroe, because in the same video, he gave the definition of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, and wisdom is application. And he said that wisdom is supreme. So I'm like, because you're using all three of them and not just one. So here it is. I've constantly always said, lean not to your own understanding, because that's scripture. In us receiving information, because this is kind of like a breakdown of that, in us receiving information in which we feel like we have a knowledge of a thing, and we're putting this thing together, and it's like, oh, I know, I got it worked out. Lean not to your own understanding, because there are other things that we, one, don't know about, because we don't fully understand the system of a thing or the setup of a thing, because there's always some key element that we did not see that's involved. And this is why we want to go ahead and involve God, because him being the creator of all things and aware of these things, see, he'll sit down with us and explain these things for him. And we have these questions. He'll talk to us about it. He won't be too busy. The thing is about us, it is about with us, is being patient and being open. Sometimes he'll give you a right now answer. Sometimes he'll give you an answer where it's like you ask a question. You may have forgotten that you asked that question. A week later, something happens and you're like, wow, whoa, I just asked about that. And once you receive the answer, you'll see how other things that happened before that time adds up to the completion of the answer that you received. And even after that, it's still opening up the understanding of a thing. And so when we are open to God, it gives us an openness to other things, to other people, a sensitivity, and we're constantly asking his knowledge, understanding, and how we go about applying this in wisdom. So looking at this as far as partnership, I understand we are ritualistic. We have a lot of ways in going about doing stuff. Friend, let us not get caught up in religious practices right now. Right now, this is looked at as an intimate relationship with you and God, and how he went about setting up this life. What is the purpose of life for you? And how you go about living this thing like joyfully and at peace. Because I mean, stuff is gonna happen in life, period, regardless of whose team you're gonna be with. But it's about living it knowing that the Creator is with you, loves you, and that no matter what it looks like, he has a way for you. He's made a way for you. He has a plan and a purpose for your life. And so this is where this believing that love has something for us. So looking at how God is not this type of thing where if we rub him the right way and ask him a question, he gonna grant our wish. Or if we sacrifice this animal or this person to him, he's going to give us what we want. Or if we call him by every name imaginable, whatever that the people named him, he's going to answer us because he got tired of us calling his name. Relationship. So we keep that little God situation thing in the bubble, okay? Because a lot of people look at relationships as I want. Relationships are a we thing. They are an us thing. This starts off in Genesis where God says, we're going to make him like us. us. God lets you know he's not alone in the beginning. There is a unity there, and he is including us in on this unity. So, bubble. We're putting God in the bubble over here. Now we're looking at you and your relationships. If somebody wanted to be in a relationship with you because they want you strictly for children, strictly for sex, strictly for them to take care of, for you to take care of them, for them to push you, for you to push them around when they get old, for you to cook their food, clean their house, this, that, and the other. Are you gonna want to be in that relationship for a long period of time? Now, you might like this person starting off and may not see that this is all they want, because they may not say that at first, or we may not hear that clearly at first. But then once it really starts to show true of what they really want of you, and that's it, that's all, but they're still willing to allow you to be in that space, honey, it's time to go. Don't nobody want to be with that. And we don't want to have that type of relationship with God, where all it is, well, I want this. Well, help me in this. And then, well, it's just all about what you want. And this is why we're taking time out to read his word, to see what he's talking about. Because we may have been in churches, mosques, temples, wherever it was, and people were going to be people, and we looked at people as equating to God. No, baby cakes. Don't let that hurt or offense stop you from getting to know the Creator. So the whole thing with this love, right? Now, when I went, because this is where I'm going. I need to see where I'm going. I'm sorry, I ain't trying to take a long time, but I don't know if I jumped ahead, but we're about to jump ahead. Skip the notes right now. So coming back to Myles Munroe, and Myles Munroe mentioning, whenever you understand human need, you are in control of the relationship. Now, looking at this from a love point of view, whenever you understand human need, now look at God. And God understanding human need and seeing what's going on from the atoms on. It's like, okay, here it is. God, you have this essence. And then God's like spirit, because we have this us situation. And then with this us, we have Jesus coming in the flesh. Now, remember where I said, as far as the 48 laws of power and the art of seduction, working physically and psychologically. Well, in the Bible, we have all the sciences, the mind, the body, the universe, the earth, etc. All of this is involved in the Bible, because all of this knowledge, understanding, and the application of that thing is in Christ. So mind, body, and soul. So here, in understanding the creativity of man and how man was created, there are various components. And in this us of God, there's an us in us. So there's a unity that wants to be included here with the Creator and us. So in this unity connection, we have the flesh of Christ, mind, body, and soul. And in looking of having this control of the relationship, right? So when we read about Christ and you talk to him about it while you're reading it, look at that control. He didn't come down and be like, bow down, kiss the ring. Do you know why? Do you know whose son I am? Do you know who I am? And I had my disciples come get you, bro. So no, it wasn't nothing like that. He was their teacher. He was teaching them how to go about life, and it took them some time to process that. And so, when we get in this relationship with him, friend, guy, from the guy's point of view. Now here it is. We look at the issues of what Solomon had. We look at a lot of the issues of some of these men in the book. You have Job, and you have the Technicolor coat dude. I forgot his name right now. But these were men who made up in their mind that they weren't going to let the meow meow distract them. And so when you get to a place and being single before you even get with somebody, it has its benefits, okay? have it fun, do whatever it is you want to do. But as far as in preparation, you want to be prepared. You don't want to wear your key out so much that when it comes time to be with the Lord, you can't even, it's all twisted because somebody might have turned it too hard. Now it's turned that way, and you got to jiggle it, and it's not going in right, and then you having problems. And so this is where we want to start first with ourselves and learn how to get sensitive to God and taking that time out. Because I mean, I know it sounds crazy and what I'm about to say, but here in a place where people be thinking God is imaginary. God isn't imaginary. But in looking at it on the surface, if you're willing to spend time with your imaginary friend, my G, because you talk to yourself all the time, and it may not always be outwardly, but inwardly you're talking about something. So it's like now in changing these inner conversations, we're actually having these inner conversations with Christ, with God. This is a union thing. And sitting, because the more you read, you'll get a visual of what's happening here. But it's like, here it is, you have a direct line to the throne. And because of, it's a whole bunch of cultures that feel like God doesn't really have anything to do with man because of the flesh, the dirtiness, quote unquote. But he made it a way. It's like, I made it a way for you to be clean and to find out what it is that I want. And you got a direct line to me through a part of me that's already walked in the flesh. He understands how that flesh feels. So anytime you feeling like Big Booty Judy coming up and you want to go ahead and get up in that thing, that's when you get to talking to him and let him know, man, you got to be real. This is where we come into really having them hard talks and letting him know your weaknesses. And the same thing for us, ladies, because fellas, please don't be under the impression that ladies have low sex drive. This isn't just about sex, but it's still a thing, and don't, for all of us as a unity, please let us not all men are this, all women are this, because all transgenders, all gays, all bisexuals, all whatever person, that all people are just like this, because they're not. And so when we put that up, we're putting a blocker and not allowing the person to actually be themselves. Same thing with God. If we assume that he is this particular way and actually haven't read him say that I am this and I am that, you gotta give God a chance. Please do not let church hurt, temple hurt, mosque hurt, whoever hurt, stop you from actually seeking the kingdom of God. It's awesome. Because that love, first of all, it'll help you keep that thing. And when it's time to unleash the Kraken in the right place, he'll tell you how to go about doing it. I mean, he created it. Why does everybody think that God doesn't want anything to do with sex, clutches, pearls? How do you think you got here? Like, God was like, oh my God, they are doing the very thing that I had them do to make other people, and to also probably enjoy them, and also enjoy themselves. Because I mean, it's 100-year-old folks that's getting it cracking, and they can't make a baby for nothing, but they enjoying their marital affairs with each other. So, friend, this is a thing where we have to stop limiting God and stop putting God in a box. Because the curiosity that we have for him, honey child, and reading The Art of Seduction and going through that, it's like you'll see that you have particular traits. And it's like, oh, okay. But see, when your genuine, natural, God-like self comes out and you in tune and align with God, baby, do you know how attractive that is? That is attraction. I mean, better than any pheromone, perfume, cologne. You shine bright like a diamond. Child, I didn't forget where the heck I was in my notes. Where am I? It don't matter. So, like dude in them glasses. Friend, to keep a woman, to keep your partner, You know that whole soft, strong. I need a man that's soft and strong at the same, sensitive and strong at the same time. This is how you get there. For years, I was trying to figure out what the F does that mean? What does that even mean? Like, does you want him to have soft skin? But no, in that sensitivity, she wants you to understand where she's coming from. And by you understanding where she's coming from, you're going to show her. You're going to listen more. You're going to, okay, babe, I get you got an attitude. You hungry? You want something to eat? I can go get you something. You want me to rub your feet? It's like you, and really getting to know your partner and seeing what's wrong. Seeing what's wrong with them, because it can be deeper than what's being said. Same thing with us ladies. With whatever is going on with your man and he huffing and puffing. It's not always about what went on with your day. Sometimes it's not even about saying nothing. I'm just saying with my man stuff coming out, and just want to sit down, put my hands in my pants, and not say nothing. Just chill for a few minutes. And if that's your guy or whoever it is that you're with, you have to be willing to understand them. So this is where this Christ relationship come in. And when we get down, get in this situation, get to wanting to please God and not about God wanting to please us. Because it's seeing about these different rituals and wanting to have this result and wanting this thing because we have a desire for something. Let's switch this desire and wanting to have this desire of getting to know God. Because this and this love relationship and actually finding out about Christ and talking to him, because if we're willing to sit there and talk to the spirits and wait for an answer, talk to the Ouija board, listen to some technology because it's a ghost in the house. This is someone who's telling you page after page after page after page, I love you. I love you. And I'm showing you how much I love you. And after all these years of just reading, studying, doing stuff, like I'm doing more now, but just doing little readings here and there and talking to him and going back to Genesis and reading it, it hit me like, oh my God, you do love us. Because you weren't mad when you came back. You asked the question. And the whole thing is like in actually being mad and ready to blow some stuff up. You're not trying to ask no questions and you're not patient for no answer. You're ready to knock all this stuff over. And so, and when you start to recognize and spend time and see the characteristics of God, then go back to that other stuff that you did read, stuff starts to pop out. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that at first. This is why this is a life study. It's not just okay, I read the whole thing and I got it. I know it. Nah, you want to understand it and apply it, because this is how we're going to see love. This is what's going to transform us to help keep that cat. Because when you get curious for the Lord, oh, baby, they going to get curious about you. I love you. God loves you even more. Find out and experience why for yourself. You do it 7 days a week, any time of the day. He open for you right there waiting. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.